When Lexus released the TX, they released the TX350, the gas-only version, and the TX500h F-Sport Performance, which was a performance hybrid. We knew that there is a plug-in variant to it, and that's the TX550h Plus, and it's a special one because this plug-in hybrid uses a V6 rather than the 2.5-liter inline-4 on the NX, RX, and the RAV4 Prime. Today, we got more information on the TX550h Plus and the pricing in the United States. So now let's get to it. Hey, it's LSFT here today, and today we're here to revisit the TX, but this time the TX550h Plus, the plug-in hybrid, and the most anticipated V6 plug-in hybrid. We will go over the feature list, packages, and pricing for the United States for the 2024 model year. On the TX spec sheet here, and this is actually on Lexus.com, so you can go and look at it yourself. What I did was I actually only took the luxury of the TX350, the luxury of the 500h, and the luxury of the 550h Plus. And there's only one trim, which is luxury for the 550h Plus. All right, so let's do a comparison between these three different vehicles and then see what's available and what is optional. So we know that the 350 is a 7-seater and the 500h was a 6-seater. The 550h Plus is also a 6-seater. You cannot get 7 seats on the 550h Plus. So you can see here, smart access with push button start is standard. You have the thematic ambient lighting. You have the multi-zone climate control. So this is standard for across the three different vehicles. So here we have the 10 power adjustable seats from passenger 4-way power lumbar. You can see the difference. The F-Sport ones only get 8-way. So we go back here, we look at standard. So I'm just going to skip the ones that are quite standard because the 550h Plus is not an F-Sport variant, so you don't get the F-Sport seats and all that. So it's just getting the regular leather trimmed and the heated leather steering wheel. Okay, front and ventilated, heated and ventilated seats are standard, and you get heated and ventilated captain's chair, and the back is standard as well, so the second row. And standard, okay. So it's a 50-50 power reclining third row seat. And because they're a captain's chair, they actually don't get the 60-40. All right, so let's look down here and look at it. So the auto leveling by LED headlamps, cornering lamps, and daylight running are standard. So it looks like all these are standard. They're exactly the same in all three trims. Unfortunately, I really hope that they would actually give the triple beam or the quad beam LED instead of just the bi LEDs, but it is what it is because I think the design didn't really fit for the triple beams. All right, so now the first option that we see here is the wiper de-icer. So it's part of a package here, and it's across the same for the three different cars as well. So you cannot get the panoramic glass roof. It does come with the aluminum roof rails, but it's not blacked out like the F-Sport trim. So that's another difference. And it does come with a 22-inch multi-spoke alloy wheel. It's a silver finish one. And that's what you'll get if you get the optioned out 350. But it comes standard on the 550h Plus. All right, continue going down the packages of technology. You can see here all the features are options. So it's not a fully loaded luxury, so you actually have to add features to get the fully loaded. So wireless charger is included, the digital rearview mirror, the panoramic view monitor, the traffic jam assist, and the front cross traffic alert all are packages that you need to pick up. Okay, and you do get the 14-inch standard across the board, so there's no differences here. When you look at the head-up display, it is also a package item. And you can see here, there's a difference here. The advanced park on the 350 only gets advanced park, but the 500h and the 550h Plus gets the advanced park with remote park. Remote park is actually using your app to actually park. I haven't seen it working yet, but that's what essentially what that is. One thing that is good is that the people who love Mark Levinson is available on the 550H Plus as standard. So you don't need to do anything and you'll get the Mark Levinson. So the folks who get the NX who says that they cannot get the Mark Levinson, now you can see the RX, the TX, you can get the Mark Levinson. Digital key, it is a 3-year trial. You need the remote connect subscription, and that's part of a separate package. All right, so when we go down to the safety, you can see everything is standard across the board. You do get the 12.3 multi-information display instead of the 7-inch. Other than that, the safety is the same across the board. All right, performance-wise, we can see that the race-inspired paddle shifters are also on the 550H Plus, but again, it's available on the 350 as well, so there's really no difference. So you can see the only difference from a performance, the F Sport Performance does get some more stuff like the F Sport Tuned Adaptive Variable Suspension and the Vehicle Dynamic Integrated Management with Dynamic Rear Steering. So there's no rear steering on the 550H Plus. All right, so these are all the features that you can see that is part of the 550H Plus. What do you think? Do you think that it's quite loaded, or there could be more that they've added because it's a 550H Plus? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram at LSFT Videos. You can see updates on my experience with the NX 450H Plus, which may not be shown on any future videos. You can also reach out to me via direct messaging if you have any questions on your Lexus. If you like this video, you can provide me feedback in the comments below, like this video, and share it with your friends. This definitely will help me with the YouTube algorithms. Press the subscribe button and bell icon and get notified when new videos show up. And lastly, if you want to support me further, you can provide me a super thanks, which is greatly appreciated. And now let's continue with the video. All right, so now we look at the specs. So you can see here from an engine perspective, it's a 6-cylinder with the Lexus plug-in hybrid electric drive. It's a 3.5 liter six-cylinder engine. So we know what that engine comes from, right? That is the original V6 that we saw on the RX. All right, it gives 404 horsepower combined. So it's with the gas engine and the electric engines to combine to get 404, which is faster than the TX550h. And then we can see that it doesn't give any torque figures. The Lexus does not give torque figures because it's dynamic across the band. So they really don't give you numbers here. So when we look at it, we don't have the EPA. So we don't know what the MPGs are, but we now know it's 33 miles of electric drive. And from 0 to 60, 5.9 seconds. That is decent for such a large vehicle. But when you look at it compared to the 500h, I don't think you're going to see that big of a difference because 6.1, 5.9, it really depends on who steps on that gas pedal a little bit faster to actually get the performance. Curb to curb, 19 feet. I'm surprised that the 500h didn't get better curb to curb, like turning circle, but the 550h Plus meaning it is decent. The drag coefficient, surprisingly that the plug-in hybrid is actually 0.35, a little bit different compared to the other two. I would have thought that the battery on the underlayer would actually help aerodynamics, but it seems like it did not. All right. So when we look at this, there's really no difference between this. The difference we see is the standard wheels is 20, is 22 here. But again, you can get the same thing on the 350 as well. We look at transmission. So the 350 has an 8-speed, the 500h gets a 6-speed, and the 550h Plus gets an eCVT. So it is not using the 6-speed that we saw in the 500h, it still continues to use the eCVT. And when we look at dimensions, really no differences here. We know that it's a 766. We also look at the cargo volume, no difference because it's a plug-in hybrid. There's totally no differences there. Weight-wise, it's a lot heavier. It's 430 pounds heavier than the 500h, and it's significantly more heavier than the 350 because of the battery, right? But then one thing you would notice is the headroom for the first and the second row is a bit more because there is no panoramic roof. And some people would say it's unfortunate, but some people would say, oh, nice, I have more room, depending how tall you are, right? So the leg room, no difference as well. Shoulder, no difference. Hip room is no difference. So from a spec standpoint, you can see that there's really not that big of a difference. Its only difference is because of we have the V6 and because we have no panoramic roof. So I'm going to move over to the spreadsheet and talk about packages and options that you can get on the 550h Plus. And we can compare the pricing of the three vehicles, the 350, the 500h, and the 550h Plus. All right, now we flipped over to the spreadsheet where I had all the pricing for the other models, and you can see now I've added the TX550h Plus, and it's a luxury trim plug-in hybrid, and it's only available in all-wheel drive. So it's $78,050 starting. And you can get the cold area package for $100, so similar to the luxury of the F-Sport Performance. The technology package is $2,150, which is similar to the 350 luxury. And then we can get the convenience package for $895, which is the same across the board. You can see that there is no Mark Levinson, no digital key, nothing. So the only option that you can get is the 120 volt, 1500 watt AC power outlet for the vehicle. So that can get a fully loaded at $81,755 US dollars. So when you look at it from a gap perspective, the F Sport Performance is 72 to 76, and now we're at 78 to 82. So what do you think about the pricing? Do you think that's reasonable? I think it's actually not too bad. And then when we look at the packages, you can see the cold area package, you only get the windshield wiper deicer. That's why it's $100 here. The technology package, you can see where we have the PHEV, we have the panoramic view monitor, we have the advanced park, and we also have the digital rear view mirror, and we also have their heads-up display. So those are the ones that are available. Then we look at the convenience package, which is $895. You get all three, the digital key, front cross traffic alert, and traffic jam assist. All right, so there's we have it. The pricing for the 550h Plus. And when you look at it, I'm not going to go back down to the comparison of the competitors anymore, but because it seems like this is one of the most expensive 3-row crossover that you can get on the market. Even looking at the pricing chart, you can see that starting from about 55K and now to 82K. And there's a gap here. I was surprised that they didn't start here, but they actually started at 78,000. There we have it. Pricing for the TX550h Plus. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think it's overpriced or you think it's actually reasonable? I think they followed the patterns for the other, like the 350 luxury and the 500h luxury, and they just gave the premium of the battery. And when you really think about it, the battery is not cheap. So getting the 550h Plus seems to be a better deal comparing to the other vehicles because of the larger battery. If you've actually looked at the news recently, replacing like a Hyundai battery, $50,000, that's a lot of money. And when you look at that, $50,000 off the 78, but that's 50,000 Canadian. Even if you look at it, even if it's $30,000 to get the battery, that's a lot of money. But I know if they're using the 18.1 kilowatt battery, I've looked it up, it's about 10,000 Canadian, which is about $7,000 to get the battery. So when you look at that price difference, so $7,000 price difference, even if you compare it to the 72, they're probably just charging you more for that battery and also that V6. So that V6 is probably going to cost more to build as well. So there we have it, $82,755. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the pricing? But I think it's quite reasonable. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please comment, like, share this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel and press that bell icon to get notified when new videos are posted. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can provide me a super thanks. And until next time, cheers.